Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Before we commence the recitation of the Maqtal this morning, I'd like us to focus our thoughts on Aba Abdullah Al-Hussain. And for the recitation of the Maqtal to have an impact upon us, we have to begin by cleaning our souls. All the grudges that we have held, at this moment you have to let go of them. Those people that you cannot forgive, at this time you have to forgive them. Those petty aspirations that we have in life, we have to let go of those right now. All of the worries that you had until this point in time, you leave it outside that door. Don't bring it in here. And at this moment you want to focus on the highest of aspirations, because that is what Imam Al-Hussain wants from you. To begin with yourself and ask yourself, what can I aspire to serve Imam Al-Mahdi? And then think about your family and your community and your society. And as you read about Yazid and you hear about him, ask yourself, who is the Yazid today? And what are they doing around the world today? And remember those who are suffering injustices around the world. Because our tears for him are able to transform us. As Imam Al-Rida alayhi salam said to the son of Shabib, he said to him, Yabna Shabib, in kunta bakiyan li shay'in, fabki lil Hussain, فإنه قتل كما ذبح الكبش أو إنه ذبح كما ذبح الكبش. If you're going to cry for anything, O son of Shabib, then cry for Al-Hussain, for surely he was slaughtered the way sheep are slaughtered. Sallallahu alayka ya Aba Abdillah, صلى الله عليك يا ابن رسول الله، روحي وجسمي وأرواح العالمين لك الفداء يا شهيد ويا مظلوم كربلاء. يا ليتنا كنا معكم فنفوز معكم فوزا عظيما. إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. There is the sound of loneliness on the plains of Karbala. This is the call of my Hussain on the land of Nainawa. I am leaving my dear Sukaina, then you wait for me no more. I am going to my asghar, then wait for me no more. When the enemies come, my dear Sukaina, then look for my body in Karbala. If you do not see my head, Sukaina, then hear my call, O Sukaina. This is the day of Ashura. By the time this day comes to an end, Lady Sukaina will be an orphan. The hijab of the women will be stolen. The heart of Ali al-Akbar will be pierced. The tender neck of Ali al-Asghar will be torn. The arms of Al-Abbas will have been chopped. The head of Al-Hussain will be on a spear. On the morning of Ashura, the narrator says, لما أصبح الحسين يوم عاشوراء وصلى بأصحابه صلاة الصبح قام خطيبا. On the morning of Ashura, Imam al-Hussein recited the morning prayers with his companions, and then he stood up amongst them and he addressed them and he prepared them for a difficult day. He prepared them for the day of Ashura. Perhaps during that time he reminded them, وَإِنَّ الدَّعِي يَبْنَ الدَّعِي قَدْ رَكَزَنِي بَيْنَ اثْنَتَيْنِ بَيْنَ السِّلَّةِ وَالذِّلَّةِ وَهَيْهَاتَ مِنَّ الذِّلَّةِ. They have given me only two choices, between the edge of the sword and between humiliation. وَهَيْهَاتَ مِنَّ الذِّلَّةِ. Never shall I accept humiliation. يَأْبَأُ اللَّهُ لَنَا ذَلِكَ وَرَسُولُهُ. God has not allowed this for us, neither the Prophet of Allah has allowed this. And then he went to the enemies, and time and again he would address them, and he would remind them of who he was. He would ask them, do you not know that I am the grandson of Rasulullah? I am the son of Fatima. I am the son of Amir al-Mu'mineen. And sometimes they would remain silent. So he said to them, إن كنتم في شك من هذا القول أفتشكون أني ابن بنت نبيكم فوالله ما بين المشرق والمغرب ابن بنت نبي غيري فيكم. If you are in doubt, do you doubt that I am the son of the daughter of your prophet? By Allah, there is not in the east nor in the west any son of the daughter of the prophet other than myself. He asked them, have I wronged any of you? Have I killed any of you? He asked them, have you not written letters to me, saying that the fruits have ripened, and the earth has blossomed, and come to a huge army prepared for me? Al-Hussein alayhi salam on the day of Ashura did not want his blood to be on the ends of his enemies. He did not want them to spill his blood. So he said to them, O people, if you do not like my arrival, then allow me to go away, so that I may go away to a place of refuge. But they say to him, O Hussein, the only way you will leave the plains of Karbala is if you pay allegiance to Bani Umayyah and you give bay'ah to Yazid. When Al-Hussein heard this, he said to them, لا والله لا أعطيكم بيدي إعطاء الذليل ولا أفر منكم فرار العبيد. No, by Allah, I shall never give you my hand in disgrace, and I shall not flee from you the way a slave flees from his master. And he continued to address them. And then after a while his companions would come and address the enemies. And when they did not want to listen to them, Umar ibn Sa'd came out of his tent, and he took an arrow and put it into his bow, and he shot it at the army of Al-Hussain. After that, the arrows started raining down on the armies of Hussain. They were raining down on the ashab of Al-Hussain. At that time, Imam turned to his companions and he said to them, قوموا رحمكم الله إلى الموت الذي لا بد منه فإن هذه السهام رسل القوم إليكم. Rise, my companions, let us go towards death, from which there is no escape. For surely these arrows, they are the messages of the people towards you. And thereupon the companions of Al-Hussain, one by one, left for the plains of Karbala. They were the most loyal of companions. Al-Hussain said about them, I know of no companions who are better than my companions. They stood with loyalty, they fulfilled their pledges to him. One by one he would bid farewell to them. Sometimes they would go as 4 companions, sometimes they would go as 2 companions. The narrator says, وَجَاءَ الْفَتَيَانِ الْجَابِرِيَانِ. They were 2 young men, they came to leave for the battlefield. فأتيا حسينا فدنوا منه وهما يبكيان. They came towards Al-Hussain and they were starting to cry at that time. So Al-Hussain said to them, ما يبكيكما فوالله إني لأرجو أن تكون عن ساعة قريري عين. Why do you cry at this time? For I know that in a short while you will become the apple of the eyes. فقال جعلنا الله فداك لا والله ما على أنفسنا نبكي. May we be ransom for you. By Allah, we're not crying upon ourselves. ولكننا نبكي عليك نراك قد أحيط بك ولا نقدر على أن نمنعك. But we're crying for you at this time. You have been surrounded by your enemies, and there is nothing else that we can do for you. One of the great companions was Muslim ibn Awsaja. When he left for the plains of Karbala, he fought bravely on the day of Ashura. And finally he fell to the plains of Karbala. He called out to Abu Abdullah al-Hussain. Imam al-Hussain and Habib ibn Madahir went to see the body of Muslim ibn Awsaja. When they reached near his body, Habib ibn Madahir came down from his horse, and Imam al-Hussain was reciting a verse from the Quran. And he said, وَمِنْهُمْ مَنْ قَضَى نَحْبًا. Amongst them are those who have fulfilled their pledges. وَمِنْهُمْ مَنْ يَنْتَظِرُ. And amongst them are those who are waiting to fulfill their pledges. وَمَا بَدَّلُوا تَبْدِيلًا. And they have not changed their commitment. So Habib comes to the body of Muslim, and he sits next to him, and he says to him, O Muslim, him, if I did not know that soon I was going to join you, I would have told you to give me your last will and testament. So Muslim say to him, فقال مسلم أوصيك بهذا وأشار إلى الحسين وقال قاتل دونه حتى تموت. Oh Habib, I have a will to make. I advise you to remain with him. And he pointed to Al-Hussein and he said, fight and protect him until the moment that you die. These were the most loyal of companions. The narrator says, for as long as they were alive, not a single arrow would hit Imam al-Hussein. They protected him with their swords, they protected him with their shields, they even protected him with their bodies. When the arrows were too many, one of the companions fell to the plains of Karbala, and he only turned to Abu Abdillah and he said to him, Awafaytu ya ibn Rasulillah, have I been loyal to you on this day, O son of Rasulullah? The Imam said to him, Naam anta amami fil Jannah. Some of them were old, some of them were young. One of the young companions, when he left for the plains of Karbala, this is the love for Al-Hussein. He was expressing his love and he said, Hussainun أميري ونعم الأمير سرور فؤاد البشير النذير علي وفاطمة والدا فهل تعلمون له من نظير. Hussein is my master, what a great master is he. He is the apple of the eye of the Prophet of Allah. Ali and Fatima are his parents. Do you know of anyone who is better than him? One by one they fell to the plains of Karbala. Every time Abu Abdillah would go to them, he would come to their bodies. Sometimes he would sit next to them. Sometimes he would take their head and he would put it on his own laps. Sometimes he would put his cheeks onto their cheeks. He would take their bodies. He would return them back to the tents. He would give dignity and honor to them. Ya Abu Abdillah, tell me on the afternoon of Ashura, when you fall to the plains of Karbala, who are you going to call out to? Who will come to collect your body and bring it back to the tents? And then when the companions had sacrificed their lives, one by one the family members from the family of Abu Abdillah, they came to seek their permission. The first one to seek permission was Ali al-Akbar. He came to his father, فَاسْتَأْذَنَهَا فَأَذِنَ لَهُ. He sought permission, and without a moment of hesitation, Imam al-Hussein told him, my dear son, go to the battlefield. But as Ali al-Akbar was leaving, Imam al-Hussein turned his face to the heavens and he said, Allahumma shahad, faqad baraza ilayhim غلام أشبه الناس خلقا وخلقا ومنطقا برسولك. Oh Allah,
Allah bear witness, a young man is going towards them who most resembles the Prophet of Allah in his physique, in his character, and in his speech. وَكُنَّا إِذَا اشْتَقْنَا إِلَى نَبِيِّكَ نَظَرْنَا إِلَيْهِ. Whenever we wanted to see Rasulullah, we would look at the face of Ali al-Akbar. But after a short while, he heard a call from the plains of Karbala. يا أبتي عليك مني السلام, هذا جدي يقرئك السلام ويقول لك عجل القدوم إلينا. My dear father, these are the last salams to you. I can now see my grandfather, and he says, oh Hussain, hasten your steps towards us. And then one by one, the children of Banu Hashim left for the plains of Karbala. Imam al-Sajjad, many years after Karbala, would cry for the tragedy of Karbala. Somebody say to him, Ya ibn Rasulillah, how long will you cry for what happened in Karbala? Imam al-Sajjad say to him, how fair have you been to us? When Yaqub lost one of his sons and he knew that he was alive, he cried so much, وَبِيَضَّتْ عَيْنَاهُ مِنَ الْحُزْنِ, until he lost his sight. Do you know what happened to us in Karbala? 18 members of our family were massacred in Karbala. Then Qasim, the son of Imam al-Hassan, he would come again and again to seek permission, and Imam al-Hussain would turn him away again and again, until the narrator says, فلم يزل الغلام يقبل يدي ويقبل رجلي حتى أذن له. He started to kiss the hands of Imam al-Hussain. He started to hold on to the feet of Imam al-Hussain. Let me go out today. Allow me to make myself proud, to make you proud of me. Until the Imam allowed him to go. And he fought bravely on the day of Ashura. But alas, he too fell to the plains of Karbala. And he called out to his uncle, Ya Amma. So Al-Hussain hastened to the battlefield, and he reached the body of Qasim. He stood over the body of Qasim, and he saw the young man. He was hitting his thighs hard on the ground because of the pain and the suffering. So Imam al-Hussain turned to him and he said to him, Azza wallahi ala ammek, this is so hard for your uncle, and tad'uhu fala yujibu, that you call out to him and he's not able to answer you, aw yujibuk fala yanfa'u, or he answers you but he can't help you today. One by one the family members went to the plains of Karbala, until there came a time when there were two people standing in the army of Al-Hussain. One of them was Al-Hussain, and the other was the Qamar of Bani Hashim. The other was Al-Abbas. Now Al-Abbas comes to Al-Hussain and he says to him, oh my dear brother, now allow me to go to the battlefield. Allow me to fulfill my duty and my responsibility. Imam al-Hussain says to him, Anta hamilu liwa'i, oh Abbas, you are the standard bearer of my army. Maybe Al-Abbas looked to the right, maybe he looked to the left, maybe he turned to Al-Hussain And he said to him, Ya Aba Abdillah, there is no army standing anymore. And he said to him, لَقَدْ ضَاقَ صَدْرِي وَسَئِمْتُ مِنَ الْحَيَاةِ. My chest feels constrained. I am satiated from life. Now allow me to go to the battlefield. So Al-Hussain said to him, my dear brother, if you must go to the battlefield, then get some water for the women and the children. So Al-Abbas went to the plains of Karbala. He reached the river of Furat. He dipped his legs into the river of Furat. He held the water in his hands. But this is the expression of love. This is what it means when Al-Hussain is more dear to you than cold water is to a thirsty person. Not a drop of water did he drink, and he came back towards the tents of Al-Hussain, holding a water bag in his hand. But the enemies would not allow him to pass. They chopped off his right arm, and then they chopped off his left arm. They pierced the water bag. Al-Abbas fell to the plains of Karbala. He called out to his brother. Imam Al-Hussain came to him, and he said to him, Al-an inkasara dhahri wa qallat hilati. Now my back has been broken. My stratagems are few. Imagine Al-Hussain looking at the body of Al-Abbas, covered in blood, covered in the sand of Karbala, his eye pierced with an arrow. And so he took his body back to the tent. And now the warrior is all alone. There is no one else standing with him. And at that time he called out in the plains of Karbala. He fulfilled his hujjah, and he called out to the enemies, and he called out to all of humanity. And he said to them, أَمَا مِن نَاصِرٍ يَنصُرُنَا أَمَا مِن مُغِيثٍ يُغِيثُنَا أما من ذاب يذب عن حرم رسول الله. Is there no one to help us? Is there no one to aid us? This is the haram of Rasulullah. These are the daughters of Rasulullah. This is the family of Rasulullah. Is there no one to help them? And no one would answer him. So he came back towards the tent. He called out to his women and children, and he said to them, Ya Sukayna, Ya Fatima, يا زينب يا أم كلثوم عليكن مني السلام. O Zainab and Sukaina, O Kulthum, may my salams be upon you. So the women and children, they came and surrounded him. Some of them would say to him, who is there after you? Who will take care of us after you? So he said to them, Sabra, be patient, O the family of the Holy Prophet. He may have spoken to Imam al-Sajjad. He passed on Imam to Imam al-Sajjad, and he said to him, you will have to be patient, my dear son. And he may have spoken to Lady Zainab alayha salam, and he may say to her, O Zainab, you are now the leader of this caravan. The women and children are now with you. You have to spread our message. You have to be brave in Kufa and Sham. And as he was leaving, there was a young daughter who would not allow her father to leave. She loved him profusely, and he loved her profusely. So she turned to him, holding on to her father, embracing her father. She said, Ya Abba, istaslamta lil maut. Have you submitted yourself to death? Imam al-Hussain says to her, كيف لا يستسلم من لا ناصر له ولا معين. How can the person who has not any more helpers, who has not any more companions, not submit himself to death? One of the narrators says, maybe one of his daughters say to him, Ya Abba, oh my dear father, if you must leave us, then we ask from you one thing. Ya Abba, ردنا إلى حرم جدنا. Return us back to Medina. They are not going to be kind with us. But Imam al-Hussain bade farewell to her. And now he enters, this lonely warrior, the thirsty warrior, the one who has seen battle the whole day. He's all alone in the plains of Karbala. His enemies have surrounded him, some of them with spears, some of them with swords. The narrator says, by Allah, I never saw a man who was so besieged show so much bravery and courage. I never saw a man going test after test, difficulty after difficulty, and his face becoming brighter and brighter, more and more radiant on the day of Ashura. So he attacked the army of Yazid, and he fought them bravely, and he scattered them the way sheep are scattered. And there was not a person who came by Al-Hussain except that Al-Hussain managed to kill him. And every so often he would call out in the plains of Karbala, Al-Qatlu awla min rukub al-'ar, wal-'ar awla min rukub al-nar. Being martyred is better than being in humiliation, and humiliation is better than entering the fire of hell. And every so often he would come to his tents, and he would call out to his women and children, and he would say, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. When they would hear the voice of Al-Hussain, there would be peace and tranquility in their heart. Imagine that moment when they could no longer hear the voice of Aba Abdillah. There was only the sound of drums playing on the plains of Karbala. So after a while, Umar ibn Sa'd came to his army, and he said to them, don't you know whom you are fighting? You are fighting the son of the assassins of the Arabs. Cover him and surround him from all sides. So 4,000 archers came between him and his tents, between him and his family and his children. So he called out to them, وَيْحَكُمْ يَا شِيعَةَ آلِ أَبِي سُفْيَانَ وَإِنْ لَمْ تَكُنْ إِنْ لَمْ يَكُنْ لَكُمْ دِينٌ وَكُنْتُمْ لَا تَخَافُونَ الْمَعَادِ فَكُونُوا أَحْرَارًا فِي دُنْيَاكُمْ. What is wrong with you, O followers of Abu Sufyan? If you have no religion and you don't fear the day of judgment, then be free people in this world. So Shimr turned to him and said to him, O son of Fatima, what do you want from us? The Imam said to him, I am fighting against you. You are fighting against me, but the women and children, they are innocent and they have not done anything wrong. Why don't you lift your hands from plundering my household? And then Abu Abdullah, he added one more thing. He said, for as long as I am alive, because he knew after he had passed away, they would show no mercy to his women and children. And to this they agreed. And now there come the last moments of Abu Abdullah, fighting tirelessly on the plains of Karbala. Abu Abdullah was tired. He took a moment to take rest. One of the enemies took advantage of that. He took a stone and hurled it to the forehead of Abu Abdullah. Blood started to pour down. As Hussain was cleaning that blood, another enemy took a three-pronged arrow laced with poison, aimed it at the chest of Hussain. What are you reminding Hussain? Are you reminding him of Ali al-Asghar? And he shot him into the heart. Imam al-Hussain falls to the plains of Karbala. Everyone called out to Abu Abdullah, but imagine Abu Abdullah, when he falls to the plains of Karbala, he calls out, Bismillah wa billah wa ala millati Rasulillah, in the name of Allah. And then he turned his face towards the sky and he said, Ilahi anta ta'lam annahum yaqtulun rajulan ليس على وجه الأرض ابن بنت نبي غيره. Oh Allah, you know, they're killing a man. There is not on the face of this earth another son of the daughter of the Holy Prophet. And then he struggled on the plains of Karbala. Now Hussain had fallen. His sword was no longer with him. Now every enemy came out. Every enemy surrounded him. Someone would strike him with a sword. Someone would strike him with an arrow. Someone would strike him with a spear. Someone would throw stones at him. Oh my companions, where are you at this time? Your master is alone. Sometimes he would stand, sometimes he would fall to the plains of Karbala, until Sinan took an arrow and he aimed it at the neck of Abu Abdullah. He pierced the neck of Abu Abdullah. Imam al-Hussain pulled out that arrow. He took his own hands. He covered it with his own blood. He speared the blood onto his beard. And he said, هكذا ألقى الله مخضب بدمي. This is how I shall meet Allah, smeared in my own blood. And now a time passed and Zainab alayha salam had not seen her brother. She had not heard of her brother. So she came out of her tents and she climbed up top the hill of Zainabiyya, the hill of Zainabiyya. And from there she saw the son of her mother, the son of Fatima, lying on the plains of Karbala, surrounded from all sides by by his enemies, being attacked from every side. The narrator says he was like a porcupine on the plains of Karbala, arrows and spears coming out of his body. She turned to Umar ibn Sa'ad. She said to him, have you no shame? They are killing the grandson of Rasulullah. And you are watching. And he turned away from her, and Zainab alayhi salam returned back to her tent. It was a long afternoon after that. Every time someone would come to Abu Abdullah al-Hussain to try and kill him, he would say the face of Imam al-Hussain, so radiant and bright, so pious and innocent. Maybe he could see the face of Rasulullah in the face of al-Hussain, so he would turn and go away. Nobody could try and behead Abu Abdullah, but it would take the wretched soul of Shamr ibn Dhil Jawshan when he came to Abu Abdullah. How do I describe this moment for you? Let me describe it in the words of Imam al-Mahdi in the ziyarah of Nahia. He says, may my salams be upon you, oh my grandfather. There came a time on the afternoon of Ashura, وَشِمْرًا جَالِسًا عَلَى صَدْرِكَ, and Shem was seated on your chest, مُولِغًا سَيْفَهُ فِي نَحْرِكَ. He was quenching his sword right by your neck, قَابِضًا شَيْبَتَكَ بِيَدِهِ. He was holding your beard with his hands, ذَابِحًا لَكَ بِمُحَنَّجِهِ. My grandfather, he was slaughtering you. رحم الله من نادى وحسينا وحسينا وحسين. But they did not leave Abu Abdullah alone. They took his head, they put it on a spear, they started to steal his clothes, they trampled over his body, they started to beat the drums. When Zainab alayha salam, she came out of her tent and she saw Abu Abdullah martyred and slaughtered in the plains of Karbala. She turned to Medina and she said, Wa Muhammadan صلى عليك مليك السماء هذا حسين مرمل بالدماء